Hi all, good morning and good afternoon all. So today before starting my webinar, I would like to brief about Kovaion. And Kovaion Consulting is a HR business transformation and technology solutions partner. Our inception is in 2010 and we are headquartered in UK, spread across in USA and in India. We are an Oracle Global Gold partner with specialized into HR automated solution. We proudly announce Kovaion Consulting is the first company to implement Oracle Fusion HCM in Asia Pacific Japan region. We are a pure Oracle shop expert in Oracle implementation. We have a rich HCM domain experience from PeopleSoft HCM, Cloud, Talio and implementations, and we have a team of trained and certified consultants. We specialized in delivering world-class IT solutions across industry verticals such as banking and financial services, IT and ITES, staffing, education and manufacturing. So today my webinar is on File Integration Framework. So this is a framework which is delivered in the by Oracle and which is used for generation of flat files. So myself, speaker Lakshmi, and I am a lead consultant at Kovaion Consulting. So before introduction into the file integration framework, which was introduced probably in Pi 18. So the biggest headache for customers was generation of flat files and developing app engines and SQR to aid for the development of such flat files. So this is a solution which is being introduced by Oracle so that the complete generation of the flat file can happen completely by using online configurations, and we don't have to code, and any kind of technical abilities is not required for the generation of a file, and the turnaround time for generation of a file is also very less. Okay, so for the today's agenda, we have an introduction to the framework and the process flow, how the how we can generate the file through this particular framework and its features, benefits, and if it's a limitation, anything, and then we have a brief demo it. Okay, so this is the agenda of today's webinar. So we know that we have fluid capabilities and activity guide framework introduced with 9.2. So all those features are being added in this particular framework also. So it is a completely user guided process which is being aiding you in the generation of the flat file creation. So it is pretty much easy and user friendly, and it becomes very easy for customers to generate the flat file. So the guided process will be always aiding you for the step-by-step process will be displayed on the left-hand side, and you will be able to see the flat file, how the steps can be done one by one, and how can we generate the flat file. Okay, so it is completely a configurable framework. So earlier what people used to do is they used to go behind SQRs or app engines. So these are the two options, two batch capabilities which were used a traditional method in PeopleSoft for the generation of flat file. One option is by using SQRs. So custom SQRs, we already know it's like a tedious process where we need to sit and we should have a lot of technical capabilities for writing the SQRs. Another option is a generation using an application engine program. Even that also requires technical help. We have to check out the code. Any modification later happening, we have to open the application designer, we have to edit the code, we have to migrate it. So this becomes very difficult process. So all this is being avoided, and completely setup driven configurable framework is being introduced with this file integration, so that we can completely do everything within the front end. So it reduces the turnaround time to view a test file. Ideally it will take 2 or 3 days of a man's effort to write an SQR on an app engine, and then you run it, process it, create a process definition, attach the append into it, create a component for it, attach everything to its and code all the run parameters, everything. So we know the technical difficulties behind all this technical knowledge, everything which is required just to see a simple flat file which pulls data from your basic HCM or finance system, whatever it is. So it will take a lot of time to see a test file. So with this framework it becomes very easy. So there is an option, so it's completely in fluid, so there is an option for adding file definitions where user can configure the file definition. Another thing is, like we always know that once a flat file is generated, we will have lot of modification to it. Tomorrow they will say that this is not the delimiter I want for this flat file. The other, we don't want a pipe delimiter, we need a comma delimiter. Or we don't need this field, we need another field. So all these modifications, again we have to go and open the code and modify it and then maintain it. So those maintenance costs can completely be avoided because it becomes completely configurable in PAA. We can directly go and change all these parameters. Any person with a very little technical knowledge can manage all this. So another option is for row level security. So with the file definition we can set row level security as well. Okay, now this is the complete process flow. It becomes very easy, like we can just go through the each item in the flow. So first it will start, first will be configuring the title, description, and which owner it belongs to, and then we can so okay, so this is the process flow. So we can enter the title, description, and owner of this particular framework, and then we can enter the output file type. What is the file we need? Another is what type of delimiter is required for this particular file, and then we will define the delimiter. And next is the data source entry. So what will be the data source? And as of now, the data source, whatever defined in Oracle is PS query. So normally now we use PS query as the data source. Okay, so then whether it's a fixed length file or a so what is the length, alignment, and any padding has to be added. So all these things can be defined, and then we can select which all columns we need to include in the file, and then we will format the columns, and then we can have multiple iterations of preview, and then finally we can generate the flat file. So this becomes pretty easy, like generation of the file becomes very easy. So this is the navigation which we use for generation, setup HCM, common definitions, file integration framework. So this is how we create the file definitions. So once we go to this particular page, there is an option for add file definition. So once we click on that, so we can give the file name and version. So version 1 will be the first version of this particular file. So everything, if you see, it will be of fluid pages. So here we can give the version. So once we give all these details, we'll be taken to this particular page where we see the activity guide on the left side. Okay, so here we can see the status of this particular file definition. What is it? Well, it will be active, and initially it will be in progress, and finally it will go to complete. we can give a description, and we can give a category which product in HCM it belongs to, and date time created, and when it is finally updated. So which user ID has created this and who is updated it. So all these things we can configure in this particular file definition. And what should be the output, what should be the delimiter? So whether it's a fixed type or a delimited type, then what will be the delimiter? It's a comma separated, and if it is there is some qualifiers we can give. And then addenda record is something like, in addition to the PS query data source, whichever, if you want to select detail from some other records, then you can just include this as an addenda record, and then we can select the destination where to post it. So everything becomes easier. Now second section will be the notifications, like if or attachments for this. So once we process the file run, if you want to send it to some recipients as an attachment, so all those information can be stored in this particular page, and additional information also we can give it here. So this also, like once we start the file definition, it will be in progress, and then as and when we proceed it, each and every sections will become visited, and it will get completed. Exactly like the activity guide which we use in the 9.2, the same thing we just follow it here also. Now section configurations. Now like we know that generally when we develop SQRs, there are like blocks of detail which we need to send. There will be like header, body and trailer and all. So such capabilities are also possible in this particular framework, where we can have a section 1 and then a sequence 1. It will be a header. So so like if you want multiple sections also, we can introduce in this particular file, then header, footer, body and all. So every section like we can define whether it is a header, footer or a body. So whatever it is, section type and sequence. So it will be like first sequence, like if we have only one header, and then we can just give the query name also, like which data source we can use for particular data extraction. So now, as of now, we have only PS query as the data source, and we just mention that as the source. Okay. So this is the most important session, like where we include the query or data source which we need to show it in the particular flat file. Now next is the columns. Like so once we select the PS query as a data source, it will pull out all the fields which are present in this particular PS query, and we can select which all fields to appear in our test file. So here we can do all the formatting. Like we know that it's a very difficult thing, like whether it's an SQR or an OpenGen, like every time the formatting will change, and we need to reformat, and we need to again pad characters, then align it left, right, and introduce more blanks. So these kind of requirements come often now and then. So every time we need to change the code. So with this particular setup, we can just do every formatting here, like length, so which is the order which we need the field. So everything, like if you mean to change the order, we just change the sequence number. Okay. So now next is the file preview. So here, like we just give the date ranges, or like this run control parameter is something means we will have some run parameters in the PS query. So that parameter will get prompted in the file preview. So this is another important thing, like which is easy. I mean, which is like it is very convenient for the user. Like first, like only if we do everything and then we code everything, we run, then only we can see a file, and then modifications come up. So which is like then again going and changing the code becomes difficult. So here before within very quick turnaround time we can see a file preview, and here it will prompt for the from date and through date, whatever run parameters which you have set for your PS query will be prompted here. Okay, so that values you can just type here, and then we can just select the rows which is required for preview. Whether it's if you don't give anything, all the rows will get previewed. So then we can just download it as a output, and we can just download it as an XSLT also. So those two options are there. So we can just preview it and download it. So it becomes very easy, and within one within a if the PS query source is ready, within minutes you can just put it as a source and create the file. Now file access setup. So I just mentioned that there is an option for setting up security. So this is another component for that. There is another component called file access setup. So here we can mention, we can add the security setup. So just click on that. We can just add the security group. Here just we can create a group test as of now, and then here we can configure which all user IDs can have access to this particular file integration definition. Okay, so only these users added to this particular set will have access to this particular file. So we just saw during the creation of file definition itself, there was an option to give the security set. So here we can give options like whether it read only or generate access, or just what type of access this user have for that particular file. Now there is another option for creation of variables. So in the selection of columns, we just pulled out columns from the PS queries. In addition to the columns from the PS queries, we can have variable defined also. So this is like custom variables which sometimes we have, right? We will hard code some variable values in App Engines and SQLs, and we will be using it throughout. So similarly, we can have some variables defined in this framework, and then we can assign some values to this particular variables, and we can calculate also programmatically, then we can assign values to them, and then these variables can be used in this particular framework as columns. So here also just variable can be added, and then we can just select the data type for this particular variable, what description, and whether it's a constant or number or variable or whatever it is, and then value, everything we can give and save. Now this finally we can go for file runs. So this component, we just need a run control ID, we add it, and then we can select the particular test file, which file we need to run, so which definition we need to run and which version, and then which destination it has to post, and what should be the if we want, we can say override the output file name here, or otherwise it will take from the setup, and then here itself it will ask for the similar things which we saw in the preview. It will ask for the from date and to date. We give them, and then if you want, it will send notification to the users who have got access to this particular file, and then we can just click on the run button. So once we run, it will be posted in the report manager. So destination is a report manager, so it will be posted there. So we can just see we just saw, right? It takes hardly 15 to 20 minutes. If your PS query is already ready, and if you don't have any technical knowledge, if you are a functional person also, it will take hardly 15 to 20 minutes for generation of the file. And if you want, as I showed, we can generate using header, body and footer also. So with blocks or sessions, we know that it's how difficult it is to generate blocks or sessions if you go for some SQR and also. So once we use this particular framework, it's completely easy and it's completely like using PAA, we can use it. And once people start using this particular framework, they can do away with the coding, and the maintenance cost becomes completely less. So everything can be managed by a functional person who can do everything online. So framework features is that row level security, we saw how we have set it for the components, and then we can define constants and variables which can be used in the flat file, and we can configure the file type, what type of file we just saw, whether there is an Excel file or PDF, whatever file type we can configure. And so like these things are likely to change now and then, so it becomes difficult otherwise. So since it's a configurable item, it becomes very easy. And then we can order and format the columns. So anytime reorder, just go there and we can reorder them. Then we can preview it and generate the file. And as of now, Oracle has chosen only PS query as the data source, and moving forward they can enhance it. Now some benefits, and as I told, like there is no technical development required for the file generation. It's like completely a functional consultant can configure it in PIA, and we can do away with all these complicated app engines and SQRs and no maintenance costs. So we know that just configurations, and within very short time we saw the preview. And we have the guided process for assistance also. So only limitation is that suppose if there are a lot of data transformations, then it's like difficult. So as of now it's not supported, but I mean it's like a evolving framework. So I mean since its introduction till now, it has like a lot of changes has undergone in this particular framework, and maybe in future all this will be incorporated in this particular framework. We'll just see a demo of it. So this is a framework. Say set up HCM, common definitions, file integration framework. So in this we have everything. So here we just add file definition, we click. So then we can add a file definition. We just created one. If we click here, we can just view the details, edit it. See, the first one was the file definition, and we just give the description and what is the status. So security we can set which all groups have access. So these are some categories in products in particular HCM. So which product uses it, and then what is the type, delimiter, qualifiers. If you want any qualifiers before every column, we can add this qualifier. And then which destination to post it, what should be the name. So this is for scheduling. In register in this particular content reference is also possible. So here it's we can add the sections, section name, detail, like whether it's a group or a header, trailer. Here is where we select the PS query. You can just select from the selected list of queries. Now section columns. So here we can select the columns from the PS query, which all columns we need to display in our file output. Then here all the formatting, order, length, and then here also additional formatting, like whether we need proper case or a lower case or an upper case. So all this formatting can be done. Okay. So it becomes like very easy. So you don't have to modify any program. If you want, you can remove anything. If you want, you can add a column. Everything can be done here. So here we can just click on preview. And just the test file got downloaded. Just I have selected few values. So with the whatever name I have given with the date timestamp, the file got created. Okay. So this becomes very easy. So we know, right, how difficult it is to generate a interface. Like we know that clients normally spend a lot of time, effort, and money for development of interfaces, and again keep on changing them, and then maintenance things, and so all this can be avoided. Like for some extent, we know that like if there is lot of data transformations, like we have some difficulty in this particular interface, but as of now, know that the same PS query criteria only mostly will be used for generation of flash files. Like if it is possible to create a PS query, or if you already have a PS query and we just have it ready, so it becomes very easy to generate the file. So we already have this guided process for assistance, so things becomes very easy with this framework. So these are some references from which we've collected the details for this particular webinar, and so anybody has any questions?
Hi everyone, this is Megha Talati from Kovaion. I'm heading the business development team.
Hi Megha.
So if you have any questions, kindly post in the comment box so we can take the questions one by one. Okay, so I can see the first question coming in from Mr. Ajay. What will happen if the underlying PS query is changed? Over to you, Lakshmi.
Okay, so we know, like this is another advantage of this particular framework. So underlying PS query, like we know that criteria keep on changing. Like so that is another headache for most of the customers. Like I include this particular department today, I exclude this department. I want this cost center, tomorrow I don't want this, I want this set, that's it. So this is another thing which is majorly happening. So the main thing, like what we have to do is, if the PS query, like we go and modify the PS query underlining, the output also changes automatically. We don't have to recreate anything, or we don't have to remodify, or we don't have to change anything. So if you want, we can just save it as another version. Like if the user just wants it that other way, the way, that's it. So that's completely optional. Good thing is, like if the underlying PS query is changed, automatically the output whatever produced also will change according to the criteria or whatever changed in this particular PS query. So it is not a problem at all. So this is something which adds advantage, because criteria keep on changing. Okay, we know, like we have lot of change requirements coming, because this criteria of PS query keep changing. So this is one good thing, which is like whenever like the criteria in the PS query changes, the output generated also will change. So we don't have to worry about it. So whenever we change the output of the PS query, the output of the flat file also changes automatically. Yeah, I hope this answer is clear to everyone. Any more questions?
Yes. So I can see another question from Mr. Ram. Can you
Okay.
show the different formatting options for the data fields, please?
Can you
Show the different formatting options for the data fields.
Yeah, whatever we have as of now is lower case, upper case.
Sorry, Sakshi. Yeah. For
Okay,
the
I'm
date.
just okay. Here, yeah, this formatting as of now. Can you see my screen? This is the three options which we have for the data formatting: lower case, upper case, and proper case. Okay. So these are the delivered options for formatting the columns. I mean, and you want for date format. Okay. For date. Okay. Date formatting. See, these are the set of formats which is currently available. Like this much formats are available. DDMMYY, DDMMYY. So all possibly date type fields. Yeah, this is a date type field.
Okay.
So these are the options which is available for date type.
Okay.
I mean DDMMYY. So this type of formatting normally like happens like today I'll be needing one date format, tomorrow I need another date format. So we can just do this particular formatting for date. That option is there. Any other question?
Yes. The another question is from Vivekanand. Can we take customized reports from PS query?
Can we take
Customized reports from PS query.
customized reports from PS query? Okay. As of now, PS query is defined as a data source in this particular framework. Like I'm not sure about like customized reports you can take from like from PS query directly. Like we know that we can run PS query and we can generate some files, Excel or PDF format, whatever we require, and here the data source as of now supported is only PS query. Okay, so so these are like exactly like customizations only. So these particular report generation, because it's not something delivered. So these are customized reports only, whatever we are generating. Okay. So any other questions?
Yes. Another question from Vivekanand. Can you please explain once again about the file definition?
File definition. So this is the definition which we just create. Before we start, we create a definition. So what are required in the particular definition? We need a description, like for why I am creating this. Another status is what is the status of my creation, whether it is in progress or I am started it or completed it, what is it. And if we want, we can inactivate it also. And then we just set the security groups, which group should have access to it. Which all users can access to this particular file, and then we just define the date, time, everything, and then we can just create the file properties. So whenever we generate a flat file, like maybe for who are like very beginning, I mean they will not be knowing what is a flat file also. So just mentioning, flat file will have some data, and every data will be having some delimiter, so some separator. So that can be a comma or a pipe separation or a tab or whatever it is. And then we have sometimes the qualifiers also will be having. Qualifier is something before every column. So particularly in a file, it will be normally a text file most of the cases. Sometimes it can be a comma separated file, or anything can be. So it will have a qualifier, and so also it will be like when you generate the flat file, it is like pulling data from your HCM system, and it will be sent to some vendor. Okay, so this is how communication takes place. So I have some detail, my benefits detail or payroll detail or whatever it is. Maybe I need to send it to some outside third party for some processing. So I just run the program in my HCM system, generate the file, and then I'll send it over to vendor. So the file whatever is generating, mostly it will be in the case of this particular flat file. Okay, it will have details from different records, and then it will be like separated by some separator. Okay, so in this particular page we create a file definition. Okay, in that we will mention in what will be the delimiter, comma, and what will be the file name. All these features associated with a particular flat file will be mentioned in the file definition, and we will be saving it. So then when we run it, according to whatever we have saved here, the file will be generated. Okay.
Yeah, thanks, Lakshmi. There is another question that are these objects, managed objects, can they be migrated across environments using App Designer?
No, we cannot manage this in App Designer. It is delivered within the Oracle front end, and it is configurable in front end. That's it. I mean, we don't. I mean, if you what you are telling is this migration of this particular thing. Okay. So if you want to migrate a file definition, there is another option of creation of maybe some okay, so migrating it in environment. Okay, so in App Designer I think there is an option for including file definition, so that can be migrated via a project. Yes.
Okay. And there is another question for the sample report.
Okay. Okay.
Can we generate a sample report right away?
Yes, just we just created one, right? We just previewed it. This is one sample I just generated. So just selected 5 rows for preview. It appeared. If you don't select, the whole thing will be. Or if you go to the file run and then we run it in the report manager, the full file will be posted. It will be like very huge. Yes, so just I have previewed it. Just 5 rows has come in the preview, and if you want, you go to the file definition, file runs page, and you run it. It will run, it will process, it will generate the whole file, and it will post it in the report manager. Just can you see the sample report? Okay, any more questions, Megha?
Yes. Another question from Mahesh. What we need to change the delimiter?
Yes, we can change the delimiter. If you want, we just saw right file definition there itself. Like anytime we can go and change the delimiter. Any question?
Yes. The another one from RT. What would happen if the defined variable value is changed?
Can you repeat that, Megha?
Yes. The another question is from RT. What would happen if the defined variable value is changed?
Okay, so what if whenever you, I mean, it's planned like that only, like whenever the value of the variable is changed, the changed value will appear in the file. So that's another advantage. Like we don't have to like hard codings we can avoid, and then like anytime the value of variable, if you want, you can go to the PA and change it, and the changed value appears. So it makes like easy for the customer. We don't have to change the code. Any other questions, Megha?
Yes. The another question is, are the file definitions available for access via people code as objects?
Yes, yes. I mean, in the app designer, this file definition is another object. So any other questions, Megha?
No, Lakshmi. Okay. I don't think I cannot see any other questions. So guys, yes, if you have more questions, you can write us to info@kovaion.com, and our team will connect with you. And if you would like to discuss maybe on a demo or some other sessions or for more webinars also, you can stay tuned with www.kovaion.com.
Okay. Thanks everyone for joining, and I hope that this session is a little bit informative or useful for them. Like, from my personal experience, it is something which helps you like do away with all these codings for SQR app engine things. So, which is like a very big headache, you know. So try using this framework, and at least when the query is like very simple, or you can just make a PS query data source, you can just give it as a data source and try using this particular framework. And once again, thanks for joining the session. Thanks. Thank you all. Thank you.